This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up? Back with another one. And this clip breaks down how off-court noise around LeBron and his camp is becoming a real distraction for the Lakers. So let's check this clip out.
Real quick, all right, it's been a rough week for LeBron James. He started off the week by putting on his inexplicable patch to commemorate his 23 years of service in the NBA.
I thought he was trying to quit smoking instead. It was on his uniform.
Which he didn't start at the beginning of the season, which would make sense, only at that middle of the season.
Did you read about that?
It doesn't even make sense.
No sense.
So it's like him, Shay, Defensive Player of the Year. Who was it again?
Stephon Castle.
Like they all randomly get these patches now that they take off.
That was for a one-off game, and LeBron's is going to be for the whole rest of the
season. They take it off and they put it on car. I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
No, but LeBron's with the 23rd season, which
it started at the beginning.
Right. It started in October. Why are we doing it now?
That makes no sense.
And then flash forward 24 hours later, he's back in the news again, this time because his agent, Rich Paul, who's already had to backtrack, by the way, said on his own podcast that the Lakers should consider trading away Austin Reaves in favor of Jaren Jackson Jr., and LeBron tried to be like, hey, he speaks for himself. I had nothing to do with that. Me and AR are tight.
I just got to say this, Kevin. Yeah. Seriously. The distraction, all of this other stuff, this is so off the rails. The new owners of the Lakers, I know Jeannie Buss put up with it. You got your championship, your bubble championship. It wasn't a total waste, okay? Mm-hmm. But if I'm the new Lakers people, he's not the future. This is all just a distraction. And Rich Paul acting like he's naive, like the agent of your star player is talking about getting rid of one of your teammates. Oh, it was just hypothetical, right, Rob G? That's the backpedal that he's doing now. But dude, that is just so bad. We talked about it with Micah. Remember the top 5 quarterbacks,
and not bringing up Dak.
And Dak wasn't in his top 5. Like it's a distraction. And if you're Austin Reaves, you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and you've always going to feel like LeBron and Rich Paul were talking. You know what I mean? And that came up, and that came through LeBron. It always is going to appear that way.
This whole Rich Paul and Lakers situation is bad because once those Reaves trading words are out there, you cannot put them back. You can call it hypothetical all you want, but teammates hear it, fans hear it, and the locker room feels it. For a team trying to stay focused, this kind of noise chips away at trust, and that is how seasons quietly slide off track.
So this is why I don't like this, and I don't like Rich Paul with the backtracking. Apparently, Rob G, correct me if I'm wrong, it was like, no, y'all don't understand. Y'all misread it. Y'all misinterpreted it. It was a hypothetical. Rich Paul, you are arguably, basketball-wise, the biggest agent, and one of the biggest agents in all of American sports. Don't tell us we misconstrue. That's why I said one of, because Scott Boras is another level. That's why I said basketball. Scott Boras over there. But you're huge, especially pop culture-wise, because Scott Boras, maybe a lot of young people don't know him. You're dating Adele. Your biggest client is LeBron. Like, you're huge. People know you. What does this need, Rob, to all of a sudden have a voice and have a podcast? And I want to say stuff.
It makes no sense.
And talk about. You were great when you were in the shadows. We saw at your games. We knew who you were, but he was kind of just that guy. Like, oh, that's Rich. And you're not saying too much. Now, every week you're saying stuff that we have to backtrack, or that LeBron has to come on and say, I didn't mean it like that. He wasn't talking about me, or he wasn't. It makes zero sense, especially when we've been sold on LeBron, his crew, Maverick, Rich, and I forgot the guy that's always with him kind of doing all his handling, Randy Mims. Like, y'all are in sync. Y'all are one. So now all of a sudden for Rich to be, I'm going to just do my own thing. I want to have a voice. I want to have a podcast. Dude, you are a behemoth in this sport, and when it comes to agents,
it's just bad. It's a bad
makes
look.
Sense? And now LeBron, he might not actually know anything about this, but now I got to feel questions about it.
You got to be asked about it.
Because for historically, we've all been in line. We've all been in sync. And watch this, Rob. What if it was the reverse? What if he went on there and was like, yo, my big client, it's time for him to get a payday. AR-15 balling. You know what I mean? He needs to get paid. Matter of fact, let's just be real. You need to trade LeBron. It would be all the smoke if he said that.
No doubt.
It's time to trade LeBron and get him up out of it if he was somebody else's agent, right?
No,
another big agent said that.
I know what you're saying, right.
This is exactly how distractions start snowballing, because silence would have done way less damage. When people with real power speak publicly, every word carries weight, especially in a market like this.
Right. It would be the same thing. You don't talk about other people's clients. You don't talk about other people's wives. There's certain things you don't do.
And don't be shocked when there's pushback or backlash. You're Rich Paul talking about LeBron, talking about the Lakers, and talking about AR-15.
And you think people aren't going to hear that and go, did Rich Paul say that, LeBron? What do you think?
And you're doing a podcast with Max Kellerman. It's not like some random unknown. Like, dude, isn't that a point of a podcast to be heard?
Yes.
Like, we're going to hear this. And then it'd be like, no, y'all didn't. It was a hypothetical.
But then they act like
dude, you're an agent. Y'all do everything with
Rob
jest.
G, that was like, wasn't that one of the clips that was out? It was a clip. So they pulled it out. Why did you pull that clip? Why did the producers of the podcast pull that out
there?
Of course.
It was a hypothetical. You're an agent. We don't believe anything is hypothetical with an agent. You're not a former agent. You're not an agent where this is what I would have done back in my day. You're a current agent in his prime. Current agent in this prime talking about current players on the same team. And you don't think we're going to talk about it? And mind you, this team ain't the Hornets.
No.
So it's the Lakers.
Still the Lakers no matter where they are.
The discussion focuses on how recent events surrounding LeBron James have created unnecessary distractions for the Lakers and raised questions about leadership, messaging, and long-term direction. What should have been a routine season instead became cluttered with confusion, starting with odd timing around a commemorative uniform detail that felt out of place and poorly explained. Soon after, the attention shifted from basketball entirely to comments made by Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, suggesting a hypothetical trade involving Austin Reaves. Even though there was quick backtracking, the damage was already done because perception matters in a league driven by headlines. When an agent of that stature speaks publicly, nothing sounds accidental, especially when it involves teammates on the same roster. The attempt to separate LeBron from those comments feels unrealistic to many fans because his inner circle has always been presented as unified and aligned.